This is Cruise Control.
Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
And welcome to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staab, and the other voice you're about to hear is none other than Les Jackson.
That would be me, and we're off to the races again.
Yeah, we are, and we've got some great information if you're looking to buy a new vehicle, because it's award seasons, Les Jackson. It is the award season. And we're not talking about the Golden Globes, which I think are happening this weekend. We are talking about the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety class of 2021 picks. It's a big class, Les, with 90 vehicles winning safety awards. And it's important info if you're looking to buy a vehicle.
That is right. And if you're going to buy a Grand Cherokee Jeep, they just priced it out, and they also priced the Rubicon, 392 V8, rather modest power, and it became the most expensive Wrangler ever.
Yeah, we will tell you about that from the simple beginnings of the Wrangler.
It's expensive.
It's expensive.
Trust me.
We'll talk about that. Also, here's something else that's pretty expensive. We're going to talk tech. Porsche is offering a $100,000 paint job. Just don't scratch it, Les.
I think you could gild it in gold cheaper.
Yeah, you probably could. Well, we'll talk about that. And
that's right. And do you have the organ?
I don't have the organ this week, but just imagine.
Oh, well, as the Tesla turns, production stops on the Tesla Model 3 and Y line.
Yeah, and same thing over at the Corvette assembly plant in Bowling Green. The assembly line goes silent. It's been a kind of a bumpy start for Corvette. It's thanks to a parts shortage. Plus, is the Stingray's interior already getting a redesign? It's been a change at the top of the styling department at GM, and it might be redesigned already, Les.
Well, they know what they're doing, and you have an at-the-wheel review of the 2021 Honda Accord Hybrid Touring Edition later on.
Yes, I do. Great vehicle. Got 41 miles to the gallon, which is incredible, and a really exciting vehicle. I'm a big fan of the Honda Accords, and you can actually get one for starting at $25,000, not the hybrid model, but had some fun at it, took it on the highway. It's got one of the best lane-keeping systems out there, so very impressive. So just getting started on Cruise Control, so stay tuned. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. Check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, where you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all that and more. We will be right back. Get even more automotive content from Cruise Control. Head over to our YouTube page, Cruise Control Video, and subscribe. That's Cruise Control Video on YouTube.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Les and Fred here. Well, as you said earlier, Fred, it's the awards season, at least for the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety.
Yes, it is.
They've just issued their picks for safety, their top safety classes. 90 vehicles have won safety awards.
That's amazing,
and,
isn't it?
Well, frankly, that's the way it ought to be.
Yeah, I mean, they have single-handedly, I think, in many ways, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety have made vehicles safer because they made it a competition. And That's the way to do it. It is, you know, they don't mandate that certain things be put into vehicles. They don't say anything. They just set up a set of tests, which are pretty involved and kind of hard to pass, aren't they, for these vehicles?
They are hard to pass. If you don't make a good vehicle, you're going to show up real poorly.
Yeah. And so all the manufacturers build their vehicles to pass these tests that the IIHS has come up with. And because what happens in a smart move, they put that information on the window stickers. You go to look for those stars. And if you got a lot of stars, that is a good thing, right, Les?
It is. This is not the same stars as the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
No, that's true.
And typically you'll see in advertisements, you'll see like a gold award thing saying IIHS top safety pick. It's important because safety really sells more today than it ever has in history.
Yeah, if I remember a time when they didn't want to put head restraints in vehicles because they said, "Oh, it doesn't look good."
Seat belts.
Or seat belts. Yeah. Well, the good thing is there are 90 vehicles that have earned these IIHS awards, and headlight improvements have been big on this. You and I talk about this. Probably we're going to see LED headlights on virtually every vehicle because up until now they've been kind of a high-end item where you'd have to go up 2 or 3 levels of trim to get them. If you don't have them, you don't get a good IIHS rating, right?
That's right. It's as simple as that. They're just not as bright, not harsh, but just bright, filling lots of light out into the front of you. You're not going to get a top award. And if the other things that are really important are front crash prevention.
Right.
That's enormously important. And I think probably within just a few years, it'll be mandatory in every vehicle.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And the good thing is here, the IIHS, once again, is not demanding that these be put in cars. But what happens is if you don't have them, you can't pass the test. If you can't pass the test, you don't get to crow about the fact that you have the safety pick or top safety pick. This year, 90 vehicles earned IIHS awards. The only manufacturer that has not earned one, believe it or not, is Mitsubishi. That's really weird, isn't it?
That's not good.
Not good. Yeah.
If you're the chief engineer for Mitsubishi, you don't want to have to explain that to your bosses.
No. So more vehicles than ever are being built to this spec and getting these good numbers. I mean, we could go forever through the list here, but they just get better and better and better every year, and it almost becomes competitive. And there's money tied to it, meaning you can sell more things, you can talk more about it. So I think this is the way to do business. Reward people for doing a good thing. The other thing is you've got to remember with these vehicles, when they do well, sometimes it's because they do have the optional equipment. So buying the base model may not be the best play if it does not come with this safety equipment. And once again, things like emergency braking and all that, you don't see this equipment when you look at the vehicle. We couldn't tell one from the other until you really dig in and ask questions about it, and also ask questions what the emergency braking system does. Does it work at all speeds? Will it bring it down to 0 speed? There's differences across manufacturers, right?
That's right. And does it have pedestrian detection?
Absolutely. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk more about these Safety Plus ratings because it's great information if you're looking to buy a vehicle. We'll also talk about Jeep pricing out some of its new models. Coming up on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab, Les Jackson. We'll be right back. Join us on Facebook Live every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern to 12 noon, for the latest news on new vehicles, automotive technology, interviews, and more. It all starts at 10 a.m. Eastern on Saturdays on the Cruise Control Radio Facebook page. Facebook Live.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. As promised, Fred and I are continuing with the awards presentations, as it were, to the IIHS 90 top picks for safety.
Yeah.
Glad to see that.
Yeah, that is certainly a record, Les. You look at all these vehicles, and interesting, you know who did the best as a manufacturer? Genesis. Hyundai.
Of course.
We've been talking a little bit about the Genesis GV80 and an off-road event that Tiger Woods had this week. And it comes out, all the manufacturers, the Hyundai Motor Group, including Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis, has the most 2021 awards, 12 regular top safety picks and 5 pluses. Volvo has the most top safety awards out there for safety. They're still one of the biggest. As I mentioned before, only one manufacturer, Mitsubishi, has failed to earn a single award so far.
Yeah.
And GM has low awards as well. 2 minivans, the Honda Odyssey and the Toyota Sienna, qualify for top safety pick plus. And as we mentioned, the Ram 1500 Crew Cab qualifies for top safety pick. And that was the only winner from Stellantis, which is, of course, the new FCA.
A little surprised that the Pacifica didn't make it.
Yeah, I would agree. But I think you will see more tweaks to these vehicles, and people will really, try to get that number, because as the number grows, if you're not in there, you just don't. It's just.
You just get overlooked.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the Jeep Grand Cherokee L. You and I had Jim Morrison on a number of weeks ago, the head of the brand, and he was telling us how they wanted to get into the 3-row business because they didn't want to have people walk out the door and say, "Oh well, we don't have a 3-row." They've gotten into it, and it will top out at the top of the range, Les. Any idea?
Well, yes. It's about what I paid for my first house.
Okay. It is $66,985. That is the top of the range.
That's getting up there.
Yeah, that is getting up there, isn't it? So it is not cheap, but here's the breakdown, the prices. The Altitude is $41,890. The Limited is $45,690. The Summit is $58,690. The Summit Reserve is $63,690. It says 4x4 standard. Can you buy a 2-wheel drive Jeep? I don't know.
Well, the Cherokees, yeah.
And then if you want an available 5.7 liter V8, you'll need to select the Overland Summit and Summit Reserve. Overland is $59,985. The Summit is $63,985 with the V8, and the Summit Reserve is $66,985. That is as high as it goes. You can't go no higher, Les.
That's I know they're super plush and fitted out tremendously, but boy, oh boy, I don't think I could spring for that amount.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But let's go over to another one of their vehicles in their lineup. And this is the V8 powered Rubicon with the 392 Hemi in it. It is going to cost more than a Hellcat. So the pricing for this 470 horsepower, 470 pound-foot of torque, 6.4 liter V8 powered vehicle. Are you ready? The most expensive Wrangler ever, $77,000 for a Jeep Wrangler. I mean,
for doors that come off.
Yeah. Put the windshield down.
Windshield flips down. It's a little bit, it's a short wheelbase. It's a little bit overpowered. I'm just afraid if I stood on it on the accelerator, it would just flip upside down.
Well, this it makes it more expensive than the Dodge Charger and Challenger Hellcat, both of which produce 700 horsepower. Of course, the Wrangler Rubicon does come equipped with a 2-inch factory lift, a functional hood scoop with Hydroglide air intake, meaning that it will not suck in water, beadlock capable wheels, unique bolstered leather seats, and an active dual mode exhaust. So you are getting a lot there, but you are paying for it. That is quite a big number, I would say, isn't it?
It is, but it's bragging rights.
Yeah, it's bragging rights. So, well, we are going to continue on here, Les, with yet another story. And this one, while we're talking big money, we might as well keep going up the money
Why not?
Escalator
Why not?
here. We are talking about a paint job, and this is a little bit of a talking tech deal. Porsche has a factory option for a $100,000 paint job. Chroma flare paint. This has what they call it flop, right? When it changes color in the sun. I remember this paint. I remember this paint. They used it on drag cars in the 80s, and you would see them go down the track, and it would change color. A lot of it was like a dark purple, and it would change.
They were never attractive color variations. Purplish, brownish.
Yeah, purplish, brownish, maybe a little blue in there. But this one, why does it cost $100,000? Well, you have to spend $12,380 to get a custom color from Porsche. They're all custom colors. And for a Chroma flare finish, you'll pay another $86,040.
Now, I realize that the paint alone costs several $1,000s a gallon.
Yeah, that's fair, but that's a long way to go to $100,000.
It is, and it's very, very difficult to put on.
Yeah. I mean, there is some science here. It's Chroma flare pigment, and it comes in a multi-layer interference film that is ground into micron-sized flakes. I'm reading this right from their article because, there's science in here, man. These flakes have an aluminum center core surrounded by a glass-like layer. Depending on the thickness of the glass-like layer, you will get different colors. According to the dealer, maintaining an even finish thus requires layer thickness with variances of within just a few atoms.
Okay, I have an personal offer for Porsche owners.
Yep.
Come to me. I have a gallon of Rust-Oleum paint.
And a roller.
and then a roller.
Yeah, hot rod black.
I'll do it. I'll do it for $500.
You know what you need to get? I think would look cool is the furnace paint, the flat black textured paint.
Yeah.
Or how about instead of that, you could do bed liner. Everyone like to put bed liner on stuff. That would look good.
Let me tell you, you couldn't chip that. If you put bed liner on the outside. You couldn't chip it. You couldn't hurt it.
Yeah. Have you noticed, though, that paying extra for paint has become a common thing? On this
Oh,
Honda
yeah.
Accord that I'm going to review, the paint, I believe, was $395 extra for the red, the tinted clear coat.
Profit center.
Hey, when we come back, more to go on Cruise Control Radio. We're going to talk about production stops in the Tesla and Corvette lines and some parts shortages and redesigning the Stingray. It's only a year or two old. We'll talk about that and more. Cruise Control is your on-air automotive magazine. Go to cruisecontrolradio.com and link up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. cruisecontrolradio.com.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Les and Fred here. We mentioned before the break that there have been some not shutdowns, but factory suspensions.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Parts shortages, technical problems, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So our friends at Tesla have suspended the Model 3 and the Model Y. Why, Fred?
Why, it's interesting that you ask, Les. They say they have parts shortages. Now, immediately everyone thought, is it the parts shortage that we've been talking about, the semiconductors? We don't know, but it is going to be suspended for a few days due to parts shortages. Of course, there's been a lot of weather in the country and blizzards and things like that shutting people down. And we don't know whether it's the semiconductors, which has shut down certain plants from time to time from Ford, GM, and others. There were big snowstorms in Texas that caused a Samsung factory in Austin to not be able to meet their numbers or get everything shipped out. So it could be that. But it's going to be several days. Same thing over in Bowling Green. They're going to shut from March 1st to March 5th due to another parts shortage. We, once again, don't know what part it is, but they are going to shut down. It's been a rough go for the folks at Corvette because they got underway a little bit later than they meant to. There was a strike, if you recall, that held them up, and then the COVID situation came up, and really people, the 2020 model year went longer than expected, and people are just waiting for their vehicles, right?
Well, that's right, and the interior just bothered some executives at General Motors, including the new design chief.
Yeah.
So I guess they're redesigning a lot of the console to get rid of some of the buttons.
Yeah, one of the big things in the new CA Corvette is most of the buttons controlling, defroster and heated seats and things like that. There are a bunch of little buttons along this console, the buttress of the console. I wasn't bothered by it, seeing it. I was like,
I like the buttons.
I kind of think it's cool, and they are tilted towards the driver, and they are lit. But apparently, the new design chief, this was approved before the new design chief came on board, does not like it and wants to make more of that stuff go into touchscreens. So do you think, Les, that this will become like the split window Corvette or the big tank Corvette, that they'll call it the button car or the let's see, buttress with buttons car? and these might only be a couple of years before it goes away.
Well, this reminds me of the never built 83 Corvette.
Right. It was only one built, right? One.
That was going to have a digital dash panel, and they didn't produce that year because the The dash turned out to be impossible, and they had to make lots and lots of changes. And I just get the feeling that this idea of taking the buttons and switches away isn't going to be that appealing.
Well, citing inside sources, the mid-engine forum has said that the mid-engine Corvette forum has said that the 2023 Corvette Stingray will have a cleaner interior design addressing the button issue, and that there will be a mid-cycle redesign planned for 2025 for the Corvette Stingray. But that has been put on hold because of electric car development. I would say we're probably lucky that they got the C8 out the door.
Boy, considering all of the things working against it, yeah.
Yeah, and I think these could become somewhat rare cars with the buttons in there. Once again, I'm not personally against them, but I guess some people get real upset about things like this, don't they?
They do, but I like all the buttons. I don't like a bare screen where I have to,
go through
put
menus.
my fingers across and select something. I don't want to do that while I'm driving the car.
Yeah.
I just want to reach over peripherally, viewing it, and turn the knob.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there you have it, Les Jackson. There you have it. It is interesting that we might see a rehash of the Corvette early on in its life, and that's something. Another interesting development: Toyota is developing packaged fuel cell systems to cut its carbon footprint. These systems would be the same power system that's in the Mirai that you and I talked about not that long ago on Cruise Control, which is a fuel cell car, which they sell in certain parts of the world. Hydrogen power on board creates electric power. And they're looking to package these modules and sell them for trucks, for trains, for all kind of stationary power. They weigh about 500 pounds, and it could be used as a stationary power generator or in trucks, buses, trains, ships. And they can put out as much as between 60 kilowatts or 80 kilowatts. I'd like one in my garage, please.
You could power your house and the next 3.
Imagine that. Talk about a community backup fuel cell generator.
Yeah.
I like it.
I love it.
I'm just wondering how they'll package it, what it will look like. Apparently, they can have it be vertical or horizontal. So there's a lot of flexibility in packaging this, isn't it?
There is. I'm going to research this. Find out the long-term maintenance aspects.
Yeah, and what would it be? What would you have to have a natural gas line in, or what would you? I wonder.
Well, you could have a regenerator to get hydrogen out of natural gas, or you could hook up a bottle of
hydrogen.
Hydrogen.
You'd have to have someone come out and fill it, though. So.
Well, no, you could connect it yourself.
You mean like go fill it up at a hydrogen filling station and basically, be off to the races then? Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting stuff. I think we will be seeing. Remember, fuel cell technology is not new. It's been around since the 1800s, was used during the Apollo space program, was used during the space shuttle program. It's probably still being used today on some of the other craft, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's very good technology.
Yeah. Hey, some news from Kia. Their 2022 Kia Stinger is coming with a new 300 horsepower base engine. That's a 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine less. Stinger sales have not been great, and there's some talk that it may not receive a successor, but the Korean car blog says the base 2-liter engine will be replaced by the more powerful 2.5-liter, making this a much more viable car and be as powerful as a BMW 330i, more powerful. So this could make this base model, which will come at a lower cost, much more attractive and boost sales. Seems like a good plan from Kia.
It does seem like a good plan. I think it's interesting that the Stinger just hasn't sold as well as any of us thought it would.
Yeah, it is. I went on the launch of the car, and I thought it was a great vehicle. It felt like an Audi. Reason for that, of course, is the designer was from Audi. And even the base model at the time, which had a lot less horsepower than this, which was 255, I thought was fine. I drove them both. I liked it. I felt it was a quality car, and of course, very well equipped on the inside with a ton of stuff. They're also going to be equipped with the GT line will receive other enhancements like a 10.25-inch touchscreen and LED headlights. So that will mean it will do even better in crash tests as well. When we come back, we're going to have a review of the Honda Accord Hybrid Touring Edition. So stay tuned to Cruise Control with Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We'll be right back. Join us on Facebook Live every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern to 12 noon, for the latest news on new vehicles, automotive technology, interviews, and more. It all starts at 10 a.m. Eastern on Saturdays on the Cruise Control Radio Facebook page. Facebook Live.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control Radio, your on-air automotive magazine with Fred Staab and Les Jackson. You know we love to drive them. You and I drive about, between the two of us, 100 cars a year?
Typically, at least that.
All right. And this is
fewer, at events even more, but there haven't been any events.
That's true. But this one is one I've been waiting for, because I think Honda does such a good job with the Accord. They have done for many, many, many years a great job with the Accord. And this is the Honda Accord Hybrid. This is a vehicle that is a big sedan and gets 41 miles to the gallon on the highway. And I had it on the highway, and it does get 41 miles to the gallon. I've proved it. It was a very easy car to get into the EV mode. I tend to, when I drive a hybrid car, I use the pulse method, meaning if I want to stay at 55, I accelerate to 58. I leave off the throttle. It comes down to the speed I want, and then I just very subtly get back in to the accelerator, and you can make it stay in the EV mode. It's pretty cool way. It's a hypermodeling trick, Les. And I found this thing to be incredible. The way it drove, the comfort level, the fact that it was a solid car. It felt like one big piece of machinery going over a bump as opposed to a bag with some parts in it. So I really liked the way it drove. Good room on the inside. And Honda does such a great job with the interiors. I felt that the interior really was a quality piece. All the controls, all the lighting for the controls, they really, really do a great job with their interiors. There's some new things on this vehicle for 2021, and all Accords get this. They get updates in styling, technology, drivability. They've kind of integrated the radar sensor for the adaptive cruise control into the grille a little bit better. And they freshened up the lights, the headlights a little bit. So it's sort of a mid-cycle enhancement. And they've also improved the feel of the acceleration in this hybrid, which I think has done a great job. I mean, I basically left it in the eco mode just to get the high mileage, and it had plenty of power on the highway, and felt real good. I also think their lane keeping, Les, is one of the best out there, and it proves that we are headed to autonomous driving cars. I was driving
Yep.
it. I drove it both during the day and at night on the highway, and I hit the button, and you keep your hands lightly on the steering wheel, and it smoothly, very smoothly took turns. It wasn't like jerky, herky-jerky.
No wandering in the
No
lane.
wandering. It smoothly did it. I left it. I was on it on a 2-hour drive. I left it on virtually the whole time, and it was really, really, really good. And it's one of the things they've improved this year for the hybrid, and I think it certainly it makes it a great system to use. Of course, Honda Sensing has everything in it, including lane keeping, adaptive cruise control with low speed follow, road departure mitigation, collision mitigation with pedestrian detection. It has it all. I mean, as I said, I stayed mostly in the economy mode with the vehicle, and because I really enjoy seeing what I can get out of it as far as economy. I was able to get that 41 miles to the gallon on the highway, which it is rated at. It also has a sport mode if you want to go and get that, get that feel. So ours was the Touring Edition, which starts at $36,240, but you can get a hybrid in the base model hybrid for $26,370. That is pretty crazy.
That's really reasonable.
Yeah, that comes with wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, remote engine start, 60/40 split rear seats, and 17-inch alloy wheels, knee airbag, Honda Sensing. So $26,370, not bad for the base model. The EX, you step up, you get wireless charging and wireless Apple CarPlay. You know I love the Apple CarPlay. There's that plate, by the way. EXL adds leather seats. That brings it up to $32,690. Leather seats, 4-way power passenger seat, memory seat, 10-speaker audio up from 8. And then the one we had, which was the Touring Edition, 19-inch alloy wheels, low-speed brake control, adaptive dampers, satellite-link navigation system, rain-sensing wipers, and more. $36,240. But the interior was beautiful. It was like a light ivory, and then we had the red exterior. It really, really, really was a great vehicle. I gave it high marks. And also, like I said, don't forget, you can get these things. You can get these things fairly inexpensive, and I would say if it's a sedan, you might be in the dealing seat. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think you can do some serious discounting.
And also, we were talking a lot about safety this hour. This gets a government 5-star safety rating across the board. Rarely do I see vehicles that get that rating. In frontal crash and side crash and rollover, overall score 5. That is something that is great. Marysville, Ohio is where they build it. The country of origin for the engine and transmission is Japan. They've been building cars in Marysville, Ohio for a long time, haven't they?
Since the late 70s.
Yeah, so they're used to that. They're used to that. This is the Touring Edition, so it does have absolutely everything on it. Leather-trimmed seats, which were a really nice ivory color with black accents. It had some kind of wood trim on the dash, which was a nice kind of an open pore wood trim. Heated rear seats, heated front seats. One of the new things they've added is more USB charging ports in the back seat area on the back of the console. You know, Those are the new cup holders, the USB ports, and just a quality piece all the way around. And that 43 or 44 miles per gallon in the city, that's something they've raised this year as well. They've raised the mileage on that. So you're getting a large car, comfortable car, a safe car, one that gets great fuel economy. Ours had everything on it. It had the red paint, which was an upcharge of $395. So the total with destination was $37,830. Would you get any kind of government tax credit on this since it's a hybrid?
I
Or no?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
You can probably get a deal on it, though, because it is a hybrid, right?
Yeah, and it's a sedan.
And it's a sedan, I meant to say. LED lights, daytime running lights as well. Everything in there. Great sound system with HD radio, Sirius, Bluetooth, easy to use. Rear cross traffic monitor. I love that. That's when you're backing out between the behemoths and you're backing out in your sedan so you can see it. The only thing I didn't like was the fact that the passenger seat didn't have lumbar control.
Interesting.
That's the only thing. And I really looked, but I liked it a lot. Great vehicle. Honda Accord Hybrid Touring Edition. So, hey, we appreciate you listening to Cruise Control Radio. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, where you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. It's all there. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.
Cruise Control is your on-air automotive magazine. Go to cruisecontrolradio.com and link up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. cruisecontrolradio.com.